Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now.
Awesome.
All right. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You at the Spizzot, the place where the conversation is pointed in your face. The conversation is pointed, like I said, the guests are sharp, really sharp. Responses are never dull. Today we have Samantha Gianoulis. This is going to be a good conversation because it's going to be a 60-plus-year-old woman and a 30-plus-year-old woman having a conversation just about life and what goes on, because there's a lot of stuff that's happening. And there's a couple generations in there. So I want to talk to her about her journey, her story, and her truth. What does it cost her? What has it bought her? What has it taught her? She is now a transformational life coach, living somewhat of a nomad lifestyle. She's come upon a big win, and we want to see where she was versus where she's going and where she's headed. So let's welcome her to the show. How you doing, Samantha?
I am great. Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you for having me. And hi, Brains. How is everybody? Great to be here.
Everybody is happy. They're in a good space. I see you got your psychedelic colors in the back. Are you kind of feeling free?
It's the Metatron cube. It's like sacred geometry. All the sacred geometry shapes really help with like your energy and stuff. I never believed it till I tried it. That's great.
Really? Okay. Well, you gotta turn me on.
Yeah. I'll send you some links. I mean, it's really cool to study.
Okay. All right, good. So tell my brains how you show up in the world.
I try to show up as my best self, like I always ask myself, what would love do? Because you can either choose to live from love or fear. So I choose to show up from love all the time, as much as I can, humanly possible.
Well, that's a big responsibility because you know what? People always talk about love, but sometimes love is it's tough to give. And I tell people all the time, I don't sugarcoat it. I do practice conditional love. I don't do unconditional love. I that's just how I am. And that's what I'm made of. Now that doesn't mean I'm gonna hurt you or harm you, but just to envelop you and give you that agape love, you got to kind of earn that with me. And if you betray me or hurt me, I dial back. I do. I still like you. But I don't know if I can just give you that big old LOVE. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say like you're wrong. It's just like my opinion on it's a little different. Like I feel like we're all connected, right? Like we're all one. So the parts of you that I don't like are the parts that I deny myself, that I'm like hiding from myself. You know what I mean? So if I can accept myself fully, then I can love everybody just as fully as how I feel about it. Like, and if you do something wrong, yeah, just like like I'll definitely take setbacks, set healthy boundaries, and just instill forgiveness, not for the other person, but for myself. Because if you hold on to like resentments and stuff, that only hurts you. So I don't know if I answered that.
No. I don't resent you, but I don't fuck with you. Excuse my French,
Yeah,
but
right,
I put it on the shelf. I don't because it's dangerous for me.
right.
It's how I respond. It's how I process it. I don't bother people. I really don't. But I do not allow you to bother me.
There's
Anyway,
absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is so healthy.
so you are 34 young years old. Tell us a little bit about your life story.
Wow. Okay. So while I was growing up, there was like a lot of traumatic things that I went through. There was molestation, abuse, physically, mentally, emotionally. Uh, One of my closest relatives that I was like the closest with, I found her when she was passed away. At a very young age. I was like, I think, no, 7 or 8. I think, I'm not sure, but I attempted suicide twice. Thankfully failed. I started to have a lot of problems in school come 8th grade, and I started doing drugs to cope. It was the only way that I could feel all right, you know, like reality was just way too much for me to handle at that point. So I acquired the bad drug addiction, and that stayed with me until I was about 20 years old.
Wait, wait,
I
wait, wait,
found,
wait. Let me pump my brakes a minute. You
yeah,
started using drugs at what age?
I was in 8th grade, so I was
Hey,
13.
you getting dope at in the eighth grade?
Man, well, because I didn't live it like it when I was fit. Well, yeah, I was at home. I was 15. I left home, so it was easier then. But it's just who you know what I mean? Like if you want to find something, you will find it.
But you got to have money too. You just can't get it on your good looks.
Well, yeah, I mean, my parents gave me lunch money at that time, you know what I mean? So I would save my lunch money, and it was the people that I hung around were much older, you know, so they were like,
So
for lack of
you were
better,
ditching school too, right?
yeah. I mean, like over the summer of 8th grade, it was I found the wrong crowd, and then come high school, I never went to school, man. Like I really didn't.
Really? Okay, so that because I want to talk to that adolescent right there because I got my eye on you. I remember in junior high school they were selling single, the single joints.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
yep, they
yeah.
were absolutely doing it, and it was it wasn't something that was attractive to me, but I was curious because I used to see my brothers. My brothers were older, and they was puff passing with all their friends and all that kind of stuff. But I never liked how they looked or how they felt. I was a little concerned with that. Okay, so you get in this vibe with these people, and your first real good experience. Did you start with the introductory drug with marijuana, and
No,
then move to other
actually.
things?
Mm-mm. The
No.
first drug I ever tried in my life was cocaine.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, but that's the first drug I ever tried in my life. And
Was you
honestly,
snorting it? Was you short snorting it, shooting it?
no, I
What
was
you
snorting it.
snorting it?
Yeah.
Wow. See and that's what I'm saying. Cocaine wasn't cheap. So you
No,
was
but
hanging out with these people.
yeah. And those are the kind of people that try to groom you for other
Oh,
things, you know.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then they try to get you hung out there. Uh, and I like to say this because human trafficking, you know,
No.
and drug dealers and gang members are doing this thing called putting these young girls on the blade. And I said, well, what is this on the blade? So they lay them in, they put them in a hotel room and got people coming back and forth, back and forth. They don't eat. They don't really shower. They don't have a sense of who their family is. No connection. So my husband is a hero. He saved two young girls about 2 months ago. He saw them. They were like 13 and 15, and they were waving cars down. And he works in law enforcement. And he pulled over and he said, what's wrong? They said, well, our car ran out of gas. He said, car ran out of gas? Y'all don't even look old enough to have a driver's license. So he ran the plate, trying to find out that the plate was from Arizona. Little Thelma and Louise. They didn't run away. They got here. But my husband called and, they reconnected them with their families. I hope and pray that their families were families that my husband did a good thing and reconnected them with, and there wasn't a lot of abuse there because that takes a lot of nerve to be, 13, 14 years old, steal the car and go from Arizona, drive the car and get to California. But somebody else could have picked them up and completely turned their life around. So
Yeah.
you get yourself in this situation, you start using cocaine, uh, and it becomes an addiction. At first, it didn't become addiction, but now these people are seeing that you're liking it a little bit, and so then they're giving you a little bit more. Where are your parents in this? Are they paying attention to you not going to school? Are they so disruptive in their own life that they're not really paying attention to what you're doing? What's going
They
on?
were pissed. I mean, they were really upset that I wasn't going to school, but I mean, I felt so like unheard, you know, with everything going on at home. Me like them finding out I was gay, you know what I mean? Like everything was so chaotic, and I guess I was just like in rebellion, like rebellion stage, because I mean, I'm trying to explain my feelings, but you're not really listening. And I don't know how to communicate any better. So I'm just going to shut down. I just shut down, and it didn't matter what they thought, you know? And then I left home when I was 15. Somebody technically kidnapped me, you know, like this girlfriend I was with at the time. I called my parents. They didn't believe me. And they said that I ran away. And I was like, you know what? I'll just stay gone. So I left home at that point.
Okay, so you left home, you was kidnapped, you're searching for your sexual identity, and you high on cocaine, and you're not going to school, girl. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not judging. I'm just laying it out
Wow.
because you're not the only one. Okay, I'm
Unfortunately,
from Los Angeles. I'm from Los Angeles, and I see the young people living on the streets of Hollywood, you know, doing whatever it is that they could. I knew this young kid that was living on the streets of Hollywood. He had a disease that his skin was falling off of his body. And the strangest things, people would hold the joint for him so he could hit it. And his skin was literally falling off of his body, off of his face, off of his arms, his hands, deteriorating. And he said that he would rather be out there deteriorating than to be in a destructive relationship with his parents. So they must have been a cold piece, his parents there. And it's so hard when you're not heard, you know, because a lot of times people don't understand. And they better get with this gayness, because it is. People can actually be born with two X's and a Y, or two Y's and an X. They can be born transgender. There's hermaphrodites that are born with two different sexual organs, and then their parents have to sit up there and decide who they want to be. We groom our children from the onset. When they come out, if it's a girl, we're going to put her in pink and give her a doll and tell her to be soft spoken, this, that, and the other. If it's a boy, we're going to put him in blue, and he's going to play with trucks. Okay, but that may not be who they are. I get it. We're going along with the status quo. So let's talk to the parents that are jacked up. What do you say to them? What kind of conversation with you, after all you've been through, that you would say to them so that they could magnify their hearing for their children?
I mean, that's your baby. You know, that is your child that you birthed and raised. Like, you should love your child no matter what. And I mean, that does not directly affect your life. So why do you care so much? I mean, it's heartbreaking. You know, like my parents were so against it at one point. You know, now it's different. They accept me for who I am. But like, I was like locked in the closet with the Bible and like was told to read about Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, it's so much more traumatizing when you do not have support, because you already feel like an outcast because of what society portrays on everybody. Like, it's so hard. And it's not like we chose this, you know, like it's not like we're like, you know what, I'm just gonna be gay and just you know, be rebellious, or just because, you know, everybody hates it and I just want to be different. No, like we can't help it. And for you to shun your children because of who they are, it's wrong. And it, I don't know, I feel like that stems from issues that you have with yourself, you know,
Right.
as like a person. Like, you need to heal yourself.
And you know what else is very perverted? I talk to people all the time. You know I do. And I ask them, okay, I'm going to have you define this for me too. But when a person says that they're gay, what is the first thing that people think about? It's how they get down.
Oh yeah.
It's how they have an orgasm. They don't look at the color of their skin. They don't look at their wavy hair. They don't look at their education. They don't look at anything else but how this person is going to get off. That's none of your damn business.
It's really not. That's crazy.
That is what they think. Okay, so now you are a woman in this space. Okay, and you told me that you've tossed it back and forth with your own identity and sexuality.
Right.
So what does it mean to be a lesbian? What does it feel like to be a lesbian woman?
I don't know how to explain that. I mean, it just feels, I don't know, it just feels normal to like, so with with me, it might be a little different, like, because there were some things that I went through that had confused me a lot, and I just started like digging deeper on it and discovering more about my sexuality like the past few years. So like I guess when I was, I don't know, like it felt really like kind of discriminatory a little bit. Like people were judging me.
I mean, does it not so much not so much socially, but I mean, did you have a longing and an attraction for
Oh,
women when you
yeah.
when you saw girls that just kind of lit you up and made your lips smack?
Yeah.
Did when you and and I put this in there too. Do you think that your preference or your choice might have been influenced because you were abused? Because I know some women that have been abused by men and they say they don't never want to see a penis, and if they do, they'll chop it off. So sometimes that abuse causes you to say, you know what, I want the longing, I want the tenderness, I want the emotion, I want the sexuality and the compassion of someone like me that can feel like me and can nurture and love me like me and not violate me, hurt me, or penetrate me. Am I overstepping my thinking here?
No, I mean, yeah, that's definitely relatable. There's definitely situations that would cause that. And then for a while there, like I was in denial about that fact, like for a long time, like growing up, that was predominantly, I think, why I started to lean more towards women. Like I was always attracted, but like you said, I've been back and forth, but all of the trauma that I experienced with men made me lean predominantly more towards women. And it wasn't until my later years that I start to evaluate that and actually get to a point where today I can be like, well, it's not gender, it's your soul. Like if I connect with your soul, whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Like if we have that connection, then that's what's important. But other people, aren't that way. So like for
So
them,
you would consider yourself, and I don't want to label you, I'm just trying to get the conversation going, bisexual.
I mean, I guess if there had to be a label, that would be what it would be, I guess.
Okay. All right. So brains, you know, she likes variety. But and it's different too because they want the ruggedness, they want the security, they want the the embrace. You see a lot of people now in Hollywood that are struggling to come out with who they are. I really don't care. It would make your life so much easier, then you could do what you could do, and that would not be something that somebody could hold against you. It's like
Yeah.
the color of my skin. There's nothing I can do about being black, but wear it as a badge of honor. So don't you think that it's easier when you identified and you came out, living your life or living it in secret? What was the challenge there?
It was so much it was so much more liberating, to like because I always label myself, I'm a lesbian, I'm a lesbian, I'm a lesbian. I was doing it for protection, right? So there was always that internal battle because I was attracted to men as well, but I was just like hiding that part away from me. So I was lying to everybody and myself, and the weight of that was ridiculous. Like I didn't realize how liberating it could be to just be honest and just let it come out, dude. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like, and if you judge me, you don't need to be in my life anyway. Like I know who I am, I love who I am, and this is who I am. If you don't like it, that's it. Like, oh well. So I mean,
It's hard for
yeah,
people that live a lie.
it's
Now if I
ironic.
woke up and Mr. Magnificent told me that I wasn't his flavor, girl, after 40 years, I probably beat him to the white meat show only because he's been lying all this time, and you've been taking me to bed with you and your boyfriend. Yeah, there would be an issue there. Not so much of that because I don't want nobody that don't want me. And if I don't make you happy, I want to set you free.
Right.
Okay. I'm mature enough to handle that. But people that live these alternative lives, they're lying to themselves. Is it the thrill that they seek? It can't be shame because I mean, to say
It
gay
is
or
like,
lesbian or it's not. Is there still a lot of stigma about people being gay?
yeah, dude, there's shame. Like for me, there was a lot of shame. There's a lot of shame, there was a lot of guilt, there was a lot of resentment, like it was It's crazy. It's not just the thrill of hiding lies, you know, like I hate lying. Like it was the hardest thing I ever did.
What were you ashamed of?
Um,
That you liked, to, kiss a
well,
girl or
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, because I don't know, dude, like I had this identity that I built around myself, and then I fell in love with a man, and I don't know, like I felt so scared to be honest with the people around me that seen me built this stigma that I'm a dark heart lesbian, and like it was crazy, and like I ruined that relationship with a man I was in love with because of my shame and my guilt. It was
Were you
insane.
honest with him? Did you tell him that you like to get down with girls?
Yeah, I mean, he knew, absolutely he knew, but like he didn't know that I fell in love with him like that, dude. And it scared the shit out of me because like that made me feel like everything was like a stretch of my identity. I didn't know how to handle that at the time. And I'm like, am I gay? I've been gay my whole life. Like, what am I doing? Like, da da da. What is everybody gonna think? All my friends. It was crazy. Like,
So you felt like you were once you came out as gay, you felt that um, that you were pigeonholed or your mindset was fixated on just this one particular thing, and we can't deviate from that because that's going against the code.
It was my trauma that made me feel that way. Like,
Wow.
absolutely. Yeah, like I didn't realize the depth of all this trauma that I was storing, like in my body, in my mind. Like I had no idea until a few years ago when I started to study like how to uplift me spiritually and how to love myself and like your self identity. Like it's crazy how you tell this story to yourself and convince yourself of one certain way. And then it's just wild. Like it was my own trauma that made me feel that way. And I did not know how to deal with it at the time.
Okay, so what was the awakening?
Well, the awakening, I mean, that was when I couldn't anymore, like I lost everything at that point. Uh, and I started praying like really hard, praying to God just to show me a way. And I listened to my intuition, and in the throes of all of the craziness, like me taking steps and still fighting my addiction at the time, just he put somebody in my life that gave me an opportunity to become a journeyman union painter, which was a massive, like, huge step in the right direction towards like my career and stuff. So I took him up on it, even though everybody said that was impossible. Like, you're crazy. Why are you going to trust this guy? You don't even know him. You met him in like a drug hole. But I did it, and it completely changed my life. And it gave me the money to be able to be like, okay, so I'm going to really invest in myself. Like now I can get my own apartment. Now I can get my own truck. And I got my license taken care of and everything. And then I just started to seek answers. I'm like, look, like I feel like I can be so much more. Like I feel like I can be so, so much more. So I started studying and I found a few mentors, and the money that I was going to use on drugs right at the time, I could use to further my self-development, personal development. So I started investing in myself.
Okay, so what happened with the drug? Just one day you said, you know what, I'm done.
Like for years, I was hating myself, because it escalated, like I got seriously addicted to methamphetamines, and I was an
Mm,
IV drug user. So it,
look at you, and you got pretty teeth. You thank God for that too, because girl,
yeah,
I've seen, and pretty skin. I have seen what meth can do to people, and
it's terrible. I didn't,
you snort, and I just ask people because they say it's a different type of high
it is,
versus snorting
it is.
versus the and you know what the brains. If you got kids, you might want to turn this part
Oh
off.
yeah.
But one of my gay friends said that they like to do the booty bumps.
I know
And I
people,
said, what is
I've
a
never
booty
done it.
bump? They put methamphetamine on the tip of a penis.
Oh,
Wait, on the tip of the penis, and then have sex. They say that that orgasm and that high lasts for days.
oh my gosh. I don't know. I wouldn't know. Never
I
done
don't know.
it.
Yeah, I'm saying to myself, now that's so they're snorting it, there's ingesting it, there's injecting it, there's penetrating it. That methamphetamine is something else. And now, aren't people scared because they have here in San Diego, they have these drug kits that you can tell if fentanyl is in your drugs before you use them.
I mean, I think that's really smart to do it because if there's going to be addicts, people are dying so many times a day from fentanyl. Like people that use methamphetamines, fentanyl has no business being in there in anything really. But if you can't completely stop the epidemic, then I think it's smarter to provide those tools so you can try to prevent death as much as possible. It's
What
freaking
is a methamphetamine high versus a cocaine high versus a heroin high? Do you
um so methamphetamines, like for me, because I've watched people completely go insane, like lose all fragments of their reality. Just it's insane. Methamphetamines is nothing to mess around with. But for me, it was crazy. It made me more in tune with my reality. Like I didn't have racing thoughts all the time. Like I was able to super focus on things and get everything done. And for days, like I would be up for like 3, 4 days at a time and just be able to get so much work done. Like at the time I was working as a painter in North Carolina and I would work like 19 hours a day, like straight up and just be fine.
so it's an upper. So you're constantly on a upward trajectory.
Yeah.
It's a
Until you're
speed.
not. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. And then when you crash and burn, are
It's
you
terrible.
tweaking and twitching? Are you craving it again to stay on that same high? Because I know people that smoke crack and they
Oh,
say you never get that. Once you get that first hit, you don't never get it. You're just
never
trying
get
to
it.
maintain it. You're just trying to maintain it the whole time. And yes, brains. I'm from South Central LA. I've never had a drug problem, but mother has lived, and I have seen a lot. So you can tick off the boxes and quit asking the questions because I would tell you. I would tell you. Okay, so
Crack is terrible. Man, that was the basis of my addiction from young until I was like in my mid 20s. And then I started doing meth and that like replaced it, which crazy enough, I was thankful for it because crack is insane. Like that is, you, dude, it's insane. Like it is a horrible drug.
yeah, but I just don't. They're both an upper. They're both a speed. But what is the difference? One lasts longer than the other. It's a different
Yeah,
effect on your mind and your psyche, and it.
it definitely is like all of that. It really is all of that. With crack, when I used to smoke crack cocaine, I would get super high for like 5 minutes and then you're looking for your next hit. It's
Mm.
crazy. Like it's insane. And you're chasing that and it never comes back. And you're stealing shit because you just spent all of your money getting like it's insane. Like
So
I don't
methamphetamine is cheaper than cocaine,
yeah, yeah, actually.
mm. And they
Like
can smoke methamphetamine too, right?
yeah,
These people.
it's
That
sad.
broke down the family unit, the black family,
Yeah,
because the crack cocaine, uh I'm not even, that's a whole nother show, but I'm not gonna tell you my philosophy on that, how that was injected in our communities.
I
Okay.
believe it.
And so once the black man got hooked on that and the black woman said, you know what, you better get out of here, Joker. You taking the TV and you're not coming home for days and you're looking all crazy and twitching. You got all this crust in the side of your mouth and in your eyes and talking to me crazy. You got to get up out of here. And so it deteriorated the relationship between the black man and the black woman to the point where she became so strong that she started to emasculate the man, good men. And there was a breakdown in the family unit. And there's such a stigma, though, with women that are on drugs or on alcohol, because women aren't supposed to do that. You know, they are the bottom feeders. You got kids and you out here smoking crack. Well, she's trying to cope just like everybody else is trying to cope. And she's doing what she has to do to get that next hit. But what they also do is they subject their children to so much trauma because your children are watching that. They're
Yeah.
watching you destroy yourself and they're begging you, if anybody in the world, mama, get yourself together because we love you. We need you. So don't worry about the shame associated. You got to get the help.
I think it
Yeah.
is so important for addicts to slow down and look at themselves in the mirror and deal with their pain so they can get better. I mean, it's a choice. Like, I hate to say it like that because I used to be like, oh, addiction's a disease. Like, I really like, and it is, but you have a choice. I mean, you can choose to run your life instead of allowing your addiction to run your life. It's hard. It's freaking a long road, but you can do it. Like,
Do you remember your first day of detox?
it was horrible because the methamphetamines I was using at the time had fentanyl in it, and that caused an opiate freaking withdrawal that I've never experienced in my life. And I felt like I was dying, dude. I honestly do not know how heroin addicts like constantly relapse. Like it sucks, man. I don't wish that on my worst enemy, dude. Like it was horrible. I had to call out of work for like a week. Like it was insane. It was absolutely
So you
insane.
just sat there and you did it by yourself? You just
Yeah.
decided to do it by yourself, or were you in a program and got some
No,
help?
I did it by myself. I didn't have resources to like get into rehab and all that stuff. And I don't know, like I did it by myself.
What made you do it?
Well, I went to, I missed, right? Like I went to do a shot and I missed, and I had this huge thing on my arm, first time that's ever happened. And I realized that I really don't have any freaking veins left in my arms. Like I'll have to start going somewhere else. And I always made that promise, like, dude, if that happens, then that shit's out of control. Like you need to stop. And I realized, like, dude, like I'm gonna die. Like I'm going to die if I keep doing this. And I looked at my animals and I just that was enough, dude. Like I was so tired of the cycle, like get clean, relapse, repeat, like build my life up, relapse, everything collapses, rebuild. It was crazy, and I was just done, dude. Like I was just done. I deserve better. I was sober for 3 years in my 20s, and I remembered that, and I remembered who I could be, and I wanted to be that person again because that is me. Like my addiction is not going to run my life. So I just made the choice, the decision, and it was hard, dude. Like, it was so hard. I even had a freaking little lockbox with like an emergency just in case I decide to fuck up stash. It was crazy. Like it took me 2 months to throw that away, like, but I threw it away and it was just baby steps, dude. I know it's like stereotypical, but just for today, just for this minute, like I'm not gonna use like I didn't go to any
Been clean how
program.
long now?
4 years now. 4 years.
Yeah.
Going on 4, yeah.
But cleaning beyond your veins and the paraphernalia and the drugs, you got to clean your circle of influence.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Like you
you got to get away from them jokers because you see it, you smell it. Your mouth starts to water. You start to think about how you feel when you're in that certain space.
yeah. See,
And
it's funny you bring that up. I mean, because for years, like that was my I would run from my addiction. I'd like be like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna get clean, so I can't be in this environment anymore. So I would move, literally move to a different state or different part of the freaking part of the state. And then I'd be clean for a while and I'd build my life up and then I'd want to relapse. And if you want to find something, you'll find something. So I'd find it and da da da. This past time, I couldn't run from it. Like I had to face my addiction and I had to stare it in the face all the time and still be strong and true to myself. Like that was my journey. So I mean, yeah, like you don't have to just me saying like you don't have to move your whole self out of the situation. You just need to cut off the people that are around, like, and be strong enough to keep them cut off, delete their numbers, like forget they even exist, and do yourself that grace. It's show yourself the
then a
love.
lot of times, I've seen people get clean and then they want to go back and they want to be the savior. They want to clean up other people. And you got to do it when you're ready, when you have had enough, when you're tired, when you've been there and been resuscitated 2 or 3 times, when your family doesn't want to have anything to do with you, when you look in the mirror and you don't even recognize the person that you are, when you
Mhm.
look at your kids and they're ashamed that their mother is even coming around because of what you're doing, or your kids have been taken away, or you sitting there in a jail cell tweaking, you know. So it's not a good look,
It's
and it's
not.
hard.
It's sad, man, because there's so much pain in addicts, dude. Like there's so much undealt with pain and trauma that we've been through that we're just ignoring and don't know how to express. And that's why people use to escape the pain that they're feeling. Like they're trying to take themselves to a different reality where they're not hurting as bad or where they don't hate themselves as much. And that is like truly so heartbreaking. Like there's so much pain in this world. Like it's crazy.
Because you're numb. You know, you're numb. And when you're numb, you feel that nothing can penetrate you. But trust me, it's like being in a snowstorm, baby. The sun gonna come out and you are going to thaw out.
Yeah.
And the reality is going to be there and you're going to have to face it. But you don't have to face it alone because you got great people like Samantha that have now turned their life around and is a transformational coach. So what do you mean by transformation? That's, you know, you're going to turn me into a frog? What you going to do, baby? You know, how are you going, how do you now have the skill set to help me transform into a better version of myself?
So in my case, like in my years of study and stuff, I've utilized so many tools. Like it's your mindset, you know, like it's how you think and how you feel about yourself, how you picture yourself, like how you perceive certain things in your life, like certain instances or events in your life, how you think about the past. This it's so much, dude. Like you really have to do a deep dive on your internal world, you know. So because your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. And if you have chaos out here, then stuff is not right in here. Like you need to sit with yourself. You need to figure out your core values, your away from values, what you run away from, like, and just really figure out who you are so you can take the parts of you that you would like to make better and change that. You know, beliefs are like Velcro, even though people make them seem like they're super glue. You know, like people will attach anything to them that they really believe, and it's like they can't change it. It's impossible, but it's not. You know, beliefs are like Velcro. You can easily change a belief anytime you want. It's just a matter of your perception.
Well, and what you're exposed to, because you can't do better if you don't know better. If you
Exactly.
are, you know, if you down at the bottom, you don't know what the top looks like. Or when you're
Right.
at the top and you fall to the bottom, you know, I tell this story all the time. I was talking to my girlfriend. She got, you know, a gang of money. And I said, well, what would happen if you just lost all your money and you didn't have that? She said, girl, I would get sharp, I would get dressed, and I'd go back to the same place that I was. And I said, why? She said, because it would rub off on you. Well, I need you to understand the reverse of that too, Brains. You are what you eat. So if you are in a situation that is downtrodden and you're trying to do better, you need to clean yourself up and start moving with the people that's doing better. You can't hang around them same old bottom feeders because you're going to be like plankton, the scum of the earth, and you're not going to be able to get beyond that. And you got to want it. You got to do the work. Everything you got to do the work. It's not easy. You know, Dr. Cornell West told me even being born is not easy because you come into a place between urination and defecation. You're delivered in a puddle of blood and slime. And as soon as somebody gets you out of there after they done squeezed your head, now they done smacked your bottom or thumped your foot. So it's traumatic when you come, you know. But as you progress, they throw you a party. They buy you pretty things. They hug you. They kiss you. They feed you. They love you. They nurture you. And then you have, you know, free will and choice. But on the opposite side of that, you're going to go out the same way with some sort of trauma. You're going to be squeezed out, forced out, cut out, pushed out. But when you transform, there's a party on the other side. So we're going to look forward to the party on the other side without drugs and alcohol. Okay. Because I heard that the streets are lined with milk and honey and gold. And it's a good thing.
It is.
So when you have this conversation with your God, I call it Gus, God, universe, spirit, you know, it could be a he, a she, a we. When you sit down and you talk, are you always asking for something?
No.
Are you? You know, I mean, because some people say, oh, Lord, they do. I want a car, I want a husband, I want this and that. Sometimes you just sit in silence and just wait to hear. And if you don't hear anything, are you okay with that as well?
Absolutely. I mean, like I used to always pray, like, oh, please don't do this, please do that. Like I need this. And when I started my studies, like I realized that's not the beneficial way to pray. I mean, like you're coming from lack that way. Like, oh, I need this because I lack it. That's not good, because God will give you anything that you ask for and that you feel that you have. And if you feel that you're lacking something, you'll just see more lack mirrored into your reality. It's wild how it works. So now, like, I sit there in Thanksgiving, like, and I don't like, I talk to God all the time. Like, I feel like God is part of me, like we're all part of God, every single one of us, like, and we all have unbelievable gifts that he has instilled in us, that we can use, that we just need to tap into. And one of them being prayer and coming in Thanksgiving and feeling like you already are that which you seek, because you are. So, and I mean, if you like, when I sit there and I'm silent and I don't hear anything, it's fine. Like, I feel the presence, I know God is always with me, because I mean, I am a part of God. Like, I am that I am.
If I sit and I don't hear anything, I think I'm being tested. I think I'm being tested because God is saying, okay, you're in the moment. You're not asking for anything and I'm not offering anything. So really, where are you? And I'm the most present because I don't need anything right then. I don't, am I in a place of um, being very philanthropic? Am I giving at that point? What kind of energy am I giving off? Who needs me to sit there and just hold space for them? So silence is good, brains. Don't always be asking for something. Because be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. Let's ask some fun questions. This has been kind of heavy. If you could pick any career in the world outside of what you're doing, what would you be? What would you do?
I would run a no-kill shelter on like 300 acres fenced in with tiny homes on the property for veterans, ex-felons, and recovering addicts that can stay in there while they volunteer their time to take care of the animals and the land. And I would have like a spiritual center on the property and a counselor on site to help anybody that is going through some things. So that's what I
You
would
hear
do.
that, Brains? I know some rich people. Did you hear that? This is her dream. This is what she wants to do. Contact her if you got some land that you're not doing nothing with. Because I know y'all got some land you ain't doing nothing with. And we'll get some solar panels and we'll have the underserved and overlooked, dig the trenches for the water. Okay, make a dream come true. Make a wish. If you were an appliance in the kitchen, Samantha, what appliance would you be?
A dishwasher, because I can relate so much. Like, I go in so dirty and now I'm like sparkly clean. Well, it's fun.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. I'll be the refrigerator. I just want to chill. If you were an animal, what kind of animal would you be?
Oh, um, maybe a dog.
A
I don't know,
dog?
it's like my dogs are my best friends, man, and they have helped me, they have saved my life, and if I could be that for another person and just be their companion in their trauma, like that'd be cool.
Well, dog is God spelled backwards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking that. That's cool.
See? I'd be the party animal. Complete opposite. Oh, yes, I'd be the party animal. I'd rock it till the wheels fall off.
That's awesome.
That's for sure. If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be?
Um, a hibiscus. I mean, I really love hibiscus and
Ooh,
just the
they smell
energy.
so good.
Yeah, they're nice too.
They are. I'd be a tulip. I'm a little wild. I like to be in a lot of different colors, a lot of different places and spaces. But when I bloom, I just kind of want to just be out there, just everywhere. So I love tulips. I love tulips. And in closing, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to say about you and remember about you?
I'm building my legacy now, it's how you show up. So I want to be remembered as just being the best version of myself I could be, that I'm kind, humble, and I'm generous, and I help, like that's all I really want to do is just help people, because I know what it's like to feel so traumatized and like stuck. So just somebody that sheds awareness and helps raise consciousness of the planet.
Well, you are there to raise the frequency, and I'm so proud of you. I am. Thank you for sharing your conversation with me. you know, because it was real. And there's a lot of people out there. We're not the only ones. Brains in everyone's family, you've had one person that's went to jail and you had another person that's been on some sort of addiction, be it drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, and there's no people that are unscathed from that. So to sit in judgment, we're all going to do that. We're all going to say, if I coulda, woulda, shoulda, and that ain't going to be me, this, that, and the other. But what you have to do is look in that mirror and attest to who you are and what you do, okay? And what harm you've done, and take stock of that and make corrective action. Thank you so much, Samantha. You are the best. Tell my brains how to get in contact with you if they want to, talk to you, walk beside you, hold space with you, or dig trenches in that piece of quality land for these tiny homes.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much. And thank you, Brains, for listening. You can reach me on Facebook, Samantha Gianoulis on Facebook. You'll see my picture, or TikTok. It's my @Samantha Gianoulis, all one word.
I'm gonna put all that information at the back of the interview.
Thank you.
I need you guys to leave a comment, love, like, share, and subscribe. Tell us how you feeling. If there's more information, if there's resources that you're looking for, if you need somebody to talk to, if you're a parent that has a child that's struggling, if you are a runaway and you want to run to a safe haven, if you want to get off of drugs, you really want to get off, it takes time, but there's people that are going to be patient with you and going to love you through it and hold space for you. And me and Samantha are two of them.
Absolutely.
All right, Brains, take care of yourself. Bye.